My name is Julie. Welcome to the Othentik Wellness Hub, where we discuss all matters authentic wellness. So today, as usual, I'm here with my team and I'd like them to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Lisa Kuyaya, known as Mama Mercy. I'm a health enthusiast and a herbalist. Nowadays, we are called phytonutrients. Welcome.
Hi, my name is Lily, a mental health practitioner and also a hair and skincare expert.
Karibuni sana. So today, before we go any further, I want us to talk about what's in our kettle. Lisa?
Now, what's in our kettle? We have dandelion root. You see that thing here? It doesn't look so pretty, but it supports bile formation and detoxes your body. Then there is ginger, which energizes and warms the gut. We have peppermint, just soothes peppermint. Wow. Then we have star anise, that beautiful star there. You've seen it. It's to calm our gut. You're welcome.
Thank you. So today is going to be a relaxed
Yes.
afternoon.
Yes.
Talking about
I'm already feeling the relaxation.
just stay awake.
Yeah.
As we go into this conversation, I'm really excited about talking about the gut because the gut is a very fundamental part of wellness. And as we go into this discussion about the gut, I once read somewhere, or before we go into that, let's talk about what is the gut.
Okay, now let's dive into that. The gut is the most important organ. And do you know what it is? It's a hollow, something like a tube from here all the way to the backside. You know where? That is that is the gut, and it's most often overlooked, but it is very important. The gut refers to the gastrointestinal, they call it GI tract. Why don't I just call it GI tract? Yeah, it is the GI tract. It is a long hollow tube that starts from where I told you and ends where I told you. Don't forget that, and it is very important for you.
So what does the gut do? Why is it so important? I read somewhere, I had said this in the beginning, I read somewhere once that the gut is the second brain. And I thought that was really profound. Why would it be referred to as a second brain?
I think it's because of the importance. And you know, the gut includes the stomach, the small and the large intestines. And you know what? 85% of your immunity is in your gut. That is why it's very important. And many things is felt in the gut. Stua tu mtu hivi kidogo. Unasikia kwa tumbo. When someone is stressed, yes.
Even that feeling.
Yes.
Sometimes.
Even love, you feel it.
Yeah, you feel it. Those butterflies.
Yeah.
As a mother, I don't know. Sometimes when something happens to my child,
You
your
feel it.
instinct, you feel
Yes.
like it's that.
Yes.
But it's not just
It is
psychological.
connected.
No. And that's why I think that is why what you're saying, the brain is the gut is the second brain. You feel a lot of emotions
Yes,
in your gut.
gut.
When you're feeling anxiety, it's neurohormones that are imbalanced, but where
You
do you
feel
feel
it.
it? In your gut. When you're
Amazing.
feeling the love hormones, the feel good hormones, it's happening in your brain, but where is the most
manifests here.
feeling? In your gut and sometimes in your heart. So the gut tells you a lot about your body, just like the way your brain can communicate. You can tell yourself a lot about your gut. So that's why it's your second brain.
It is
I'm
actually.
so fascinated. I'd never actually looked at it that way.
It speaks
Wow.
out and loudly. Have you noticed that when you are very stressed, you start diarrhea? Yes. There are people who start diarrheaing or wanaanza kutapika.
Yeah.
The gut. Well,
Why? So the gut is reacting
Yeah,
to the
it's-
emotions the
yes.
person is going through.
yeah.
Wow, amazing. Let's talk about the gut and nutrition. That's where I've been trying to head.
Yeah. So that's the purpose. That falls under the purpose of the gut. Now it digests food. That one you know. Yeah. You put your food in your mouth and it's digested. Now, in primary school, we were taught something about is it carbs being digested in the mouth, then turns to glucose. I think all of you remember that. Yes. Then it absorbs nutrients. So it digests food, it absorbs nutrients, Alafu, the most important one, it eliminates waste. Yes. Okay. So, we look at what is absorbed in the gut. The gut absorbs different types of nutrition, and different stages of the gut absorbs different types of nutrition. Now, like you remember, the mouth absorbs a different type of nutrition. Now, we look at the small intestine. The small intestine absorbs the carbs as glucose, proteins as amino acids, and fats as fatty acids. In the previous episode, we talked about the importance of fat. You see now, it is absorbed in the small intestines. Minerals like magnesium, calcium, selenium is also absorbed in the small intestines. Our vitamins, we have our vitamin A, D, E, K, vitamin C, those ones are absorbed in the small intestines. Yes. Then, do I continue talking about the big intestine?
Why not? Go ahead.
Okay. Then we have the large intestine. Ushai on a matumbo. You see those small ones? Then we have the big one. Now, that is the colon. The colon absorbs water, some vitamins, and vitamin K and the B12 vitamins. Even the small intestine also absorbs water. Have you looked at matumbo alafu unaona iko na kamaji? Yes, and then also the small one, the big one. Yes, so water is very important for us. Yes. Do you want to add something about what we've talked about so far?
Yeah, like just also looking at, I like connecting what we've spoken about before in terms of soil and the gut. So the importance of this gut is that it also has enzymes, it has acids, it has hormones that help with all the breakdown. So by the time you're putting food in your mouth, remember there is saliva. I think it's called something less. I can't remember, there was a malaise in primary. Remember? Yeah. Those malaise, less, whatever. Those are too technical to remember. Yeah. But by the time you're putting a piece of bread or your carbs in your mouth, you're told to chew as long as you can to allow for more absorption. Because if you chew faster, the carbs will not start absorption in the mouth. It will have to go into the stomach, and the stomach does not digest carbohydrates. It actually breaks down proteins. The stomach itself breaks down proteins. So it will go through the mouth into the esophagus, where it goes through the stomach, and then now gets digested in the small intestines, which I think you're doing your body a disservice. Yeah. Why not just take time, start chewing your food longer, break it down. That's why you have teeth.
Yeah,
that's why
that's why in the last conversation we had, you said something about how we should take our foods
even slowly. The speed at which you take your food determines absorption rate, determines how the food is broken down, and it also determines your ability to feel full within the required period and with the right amount of food. Imagine your stomach is the size of your fist, and then you want to feed it with a whole plate full of food. Kiugali inatoshana kama like 3 times your hands.
You don't even chew.
You just my mom used to say, acha kusunda chakula. Chew your food. Because I was those kids, I think being an only girl with like 3 brothers, you have to, in Luo they say to hado, you have to hado your food. Chap, and then you start eating your rice. You're like, acha kijiko itoshi, Use your hands. So my mom used to say, can you just chew your food? She's a nurse, so she understands how the gut works. So can you chew your food? I would put a mouthful of rice and then I swallow. As is, do ikona supu. Enough soup.
So chewing.
And rice is easy to swallow. But imagine now my body, learning now what I was doing to my body then. And learning that the effects are coming out right now, that rice will not be digested. The soup and the protein in the soup and the nyama will start getting digested in the stomach. And it will be broken down, and that's our source of vitamin B12, as Lisa has just told us. But as the food goes down, nimeshapitisha kwa mdomo, haija break down, haijakuwa water.
So even the enzymes in the mouth have not been given an opportunity to do that.
Yeah. It's not even beneficial for her.
It's not beneficial for me, because by the time inafika small intestines, again there are enzymes that can also further break down. Once you start breaking down in the mouth, the final breaking down of the carbohydrates is done in the small intestine. So hapo ndo inaanzia. By the time small intestine inaanza ku break down a whole chunk of rice, it has not been supported. There's no nutritional benefit I'm getting from that rice, if it had any nutritional benefit. So just making sure that you're eating the right foods, and you know where your foods are being absorbed. You know that your protein, as much as they start being broken down in the stomach, it has to go down and still continue being, the hydrochloric acid breaks down the meat into now the B12s and all this. And then there's another enzyme, I've just forgotten what it is called. It journeys together in the small intestines, then it finishes the small intestine. As we've been told, the B12s get absorbed in the big intestines. Then just at that junction, that enzyme starts bonding with the B12, and that's how it gets absorbed now through our large intestines. So imagine me eating huge chunks of meat and again eating water. I have diluted the hydrochloric acid in my stomach. How will my stomach digest the meat?
Is that why we are told not to take as you're eating?
Yes, not
when you take water.
Either you need to take water 30 minutes before, stop taking water 30 minutes before eating, or 1.5 hours after eating. Just to maintain that level of acidity to break down the food. And then if you feel thirsty, because if you're eating carbs, for example, if you eat chapati, you will feel very thirsty. So just do a mouthful, swirl it around your mouth. It allows the cells to feel like the thirst has disappeared, and now you can delay and wait. Same to fruits. 30 minutes before the main dish, 30 minutes after.
Now that you've talked about acids, did you know that different parts of the stomach, the gut, have different pHs levels? And I'm just thinking about what we were talking about in the previous episodes about the soil. Now we are talking about the soil pH. Now we are talking about the gut and the gut pH. This is very important. As we saw, it's important in the soil, it's also important in the gut. Now, the stomach, the pH, the optimum pH for the stomach is 1.5 to 3.5. We need the acidity, as you've said, to digest the food. Yes. Then the small intestines, we need it slightly as alkaline for nutrient absorption, as she has mentioned. And the optimum pH is between 6 to 7.4. Imagine. Then the large intestine, we call it the colon. We want it slightly acidic to neutral. Now you can imagine the way God made this body. Everything has to be just optimal. Everything has to be just right. For the large intestine, it's 5.5 to 7. Slightly acidic to neutral to maintain a healthy gut flora. Now, what is gut flora? Those are microbiomes. We need the microbiome. You remember in the beginning we talked about 85% of your immunity is in the gut. Now that is where they come in. Probiotics and prebiotics. Are we together? Okay? Now we know that the work of the gut is to do what? Break down food, to absorb, to protect us against harmful microbes and managing wastes. Now, when, let's say, homa inakuja, then your probiotic, your gut microbiomes are good and effective. Inapigana na homa, that is how our immunity is supposed to be. Our body is supposed to be so well prepared to fight off diseases. That is how God created this body. In as much as it is the second brain, it is also very intelligent. When something comes in that is it was called in high school what vector, disease causing thing, someone in a Sahara has been low. The good microbiome is supposed to fight off, and that is where our immunity comes in. The 85% of our immunity, yes, comes in.
Actually, as you're talking about the pH, it's very important because disease, any disease causing organism, most of them, especially bacteria, fungus, they love lower pH. So disease thrives in a pH of about 5.5. So and then in your gut, why we need the probiotics, why we need the fermented foods. In fact, like cabbage, the kimchi and all, it has the vitamin C, it has the probiotics, which help your body to it's like helping your body fight. So the existence of those bacteria, when a child goes out to play, let them be exposed to, let them walk bare feet, let them do all this, let them eat with their hands dirty sometimes, because kids won't come back to wash their hands. But as they are doing that, especially when they do, there's a stage where kids love the soil. Sometimes it's looking for minerals, but do you know the bacteria and the other organisms, the whole ecosystem in that soil also introduces certain bacteria in small quantities, and it kind of prepares your mind or your brain to be able to fight future bacteria. So if you have a certain like Helicobacter bacteria, for example, it's a bad bacteria. If your body was introduced to it when you were younger, there's a way your brain will remember in future when it senses this.
Is that why they say sometimes like maybe kids who've grown up near trash ground areas or chokoras are more resistant to diseases?
Yes,
they are. Kids who've been
and they don't get irritable gut syndrome, food poisoning, what. They have been exposed to these things.
Kidogo. It's like a vaccine. Small doses. Which informs the body to fight it. Remember when COVID came, they decided to do vaccine. I don't know, we are not going to talk about it, but just like any other vaccine, they give you something like, which is not very effective, but it informs the brain that, hey, hapa kuna kakitu, prepare to fight it. Yes.
I don't know whether, I think this is important also for people, as we are talking about the pHs, it's very important to know which foods are alkaline, which foods are acidic. When you know which foods are alkaline and acidic, then you will also know how to balance so that you also, like playing around, the same way farmers play with soil pH and stuff, you also start playing around with your system, knowing that, hey, when I eat this, then if I was too acidic, it brings up the acidity to more alkaline, and then it's balanced. Because remember I said in a previous episode that when the pH hits 7.5 in alkalinity of your blood, the pH of your blood, you go into a coma. If your pH goes down to like 7.3, you also go into a coma. 7.25 or something, you go into a coma and you die. So, the cells, the fungus, the cancer cells and all that, they also push down. So when these things are happening, you need to know which foods to eat. Like when you eat lemon, it's acidic in nature. But once it hits your stomach, it's broken down. You know, it's now broken down to its elements. Those elements are alkaline in nature.
Exactly.
So it helps boost your alkalinity. So it's important to know dark leafy green vegetables. When I eat sukuma wiki, heartburn. No. That the overall effect or the end result is alkalinity. But when you eat meats, you don't feel acidity, but its overall effect once it is broken down, it's acidic. So just knowing how do I balance my foods. When you take too much sugar, sometimes, and you have a yeast infection, for example, what do you form? You form alcohol. You form acid. And it thrives, the nini thrives. And that creates a very good environment. Acidity creates a good environment for cancers, even gut cancer. So your gut is very important, and learning these things is very important. And we are mothers here, and I believe there are mothers viewing us today. Just know, what are you plating for your family? Because most of the time it's us who dictate
Decide what
what
goes
is
to the plate.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Just learning that there are some things that are preventable just by learning how your body works is very important.
I know that you are talking about sukuma wiki and acidity. Again, you need to trace your mboga. Where is it coming from? And that's where Miss Julie comes in as an organic farmer. I'm also a farmer. My father, I gave him sukuma wiki. And he told me, sukuma inanipatia heartburn. Nikamwambia, this is organically grown. He ate that sukuma wiki. He did not have heartburn. But other sukuma wikis give him issues with the gut. Now, again, what is in that sukuma wiki? Was the soil weeded? Walitumia what is it called?
Roundup.
Roundup.
That is
and many people nowadays do not want to kusember. It's called what? To weed.
Hand weeding.
People don't want to hand weed because you just spray that thing. But imagine you poison your land, and then you poison your food, and you set it and you eat it. Really?
Therefore poisoning yourself.
Then you poison yourself knowingly.
Sure. And then you believe you're eating healthy, you end up complaining about the acidity, yet it is that toxin in that mboga.
It has reached a time where we need to be very intentional what we are putting in front of us to eat.
Wow.
Any poison, even if it's in a small dose. And because it's still poisonous. And because we are not eating very good food, full of fiber. Fiber are these things that you eat. The body cannot absorb, but it helps. It's very important and crucial for your gut.
So how does fiber actually help now in terms of our gut and the efficient working of our gut? What does fiber do?
Fiber, we have two types. Water soluble, and there's water soluble and the one that is not water soluble. The ones that are water soluble, when it mixes with water, it kind of makes something like a gel. Then that is what feeds the microbiomes in your gut. And you remember, you need the microbiomes to fight off magonjwa and to even remove toxins. In the beginning, we talked about dandelion, this tea, and I said it does detox. Yes. So nowadays, because of so many poisonous things, and we are not eating as healthy. We are not eating akina tafai, akina dandelion, akina most of these wild
the ones called weeds.
And weeds are not just weeds. There is a reason why God made it grow. He knew they are good for us. So look at these weeds with kindness. Now, these fibers, the ones that are water soluble, are food for the microbiomes. Then the ones that are not water soluble, zinakuwa ni kama it mixes. Then it helps you move your bowels. Remember, you're supposed to move your bowels. Without moving bowels, my dear. You remember the gut, it's supposed to absorb, to protect, and also to get rid of waste. You can imagine something the body, it needs beauty and wisdom, as the second brain decided hii ni chafu. But because of what you are eating, you are retaining, and the toxins are reabsorbed into your body. So you can imagine unakula uchafu tena into your blood.
Very fast.
Very fast.
I think we'll still need to talk about the gut even in our future conversations. But quickly, what would be your parting shot? Very fast.
Parting shot. Well, the gut speaks. Listen to your gut. Yes, listen to your gut. And a happy gut is a happy you. And when you have your gut is good, it is clean, it will even show your skin, your hair, mental clarity, your focus. Are you feeling sluggish? Look at your gut, that stomach. Look at it. How many times are you moving it? It's important for the gut to move. Yes. So for your skin, mental clarity, it all ends at the and starts at the gut.
Just quickly, just know that stress, worry, and anxiety increase the cell acidity in your body. So let's manage our stress. Let's try to smile. One smile a day keeps the doctor away.
My takeaway would be I'm convinced that the gut is actually the second brain. And I think we'll have this conversation again because there's still so many interesting things that you can find out about our gut that will even give us more conviction to take care of ourselves better and our gut health. So our viewers, we've come to the end of this conversation. I wish there was more time, but we'll still talk some more as the days go. If you want to contact us, you have questions you'd like to ask us, please check our socials, check our contacts, and feel free to engage in this conversation. Have a nice evening. Asante.